Hey, assalamu alaikum everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm certainly doing very well and I feel amazing. So everything's fantastic on my end. Um, I listened today to a video of someone talking about their experience being in Egypt, being in Maidan al-Tahrir, in the what's it called, Liberation Square, in the middle of the protests, sleeping out there, um, being on little food. I mean, just so many things. And I have to say that I was moved. I mean, I was really moved. There's a lot going on right now in this region. You've got the big changes in Tunisia, Libya with the president, a few things in Syria. Jordan kind of changed a little bit their parliament. Yemen, Lebanon has been going for a while, with Hezbollah and that stuff. Um, in Egypt, we can't forget Egypt, the huge one with 85 million. I mean, there were reportedly 4 or 5 million at one point in the area in Tahrir, that area and around it, which is which is more than the population, or at least almost as much as the population of all of Libya combined, or Libya, however you say it in English. And so, that's big stuff. Like, okay, it just lagged. Sorry, my computer sucks. Which was very interesting because I feel like I vicariously experienced being there, and it was just really special to just see someone talk about that. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Everyone, please just tell your stories, tell your lives, put them out there. It's history, and I think with Facebook and Twitter, although I don't use them, um, and with YouTube, and with all of these different things, I think everyone has more of a voice. And we have to remember that in Egypt there was this revolution, and a big part of it was Facebook and Twitter and social networking and social media and keeping in touch with people online and spreading information. And really, you become a part of history. And so I encourage everybody to please do that. I mean, it's just amazing that you can be part of something so huge, and no one expected that to happen. And I just wanted to share. It's not even my story, but from someone else because I lived in Egypt, and I really feel like I really feel close to the Egyptian people. Um, that in the beginning there was this one very old man. This is someone's story, not mine. Very old man with white hair and a long beard. And as there were soldiers, well, police force ready for this, the first of the protests that happened on Friday, January 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Um, he was out there and just in the middle of the street, all alone. And he was like, Mubarak's regime is going down. He's, I'm trying to translate now. He's evil. He's a transgressor. He's done this and he's done that. And he's just screaming at the top of his lungs. I mean, look at that guy. He's just all alone right there. Old guy. He could easily get killed, get his skull cracked. I mean, people got their skull cracked. A lot of people died. And a lot of people are dying in these regions to stand up for what they believe. And he was just out there all alone. And then um, after a little while, there were 10 young guys next to him, and then 100, then 1,000, then as far as the eye can see, as far as the eye can see. So much that at one point when they were trying to pray, when you pray, I showed you the prayer before, you're supposed to prostrate. They couldn't even do that because there were just so many people. Maybe more than the people in Mecca during the time of Hajj, in Masjid al-Haram, that huge masjid or mosque. So it's just an amazing thing that an idea can spread and people can come together. And it wasn't like a new thing. I mean, they thought about it, but I just mean, uh, yeah, spread what you believe in. I decided to be a tourist because there were a couple places I hadn't yet visited. The Hagia Sophia, which is it used to be a huge cathedral. If man, I'm gonna get. You should correct me on this. I think cathedral. Man, I should have Wikipedia'd it before talking about it, but it's okay. But it was basically either a church or a cathedral, basically something Christian, which Justinian, I believe, built. I mean, just so huge. It's huge. I mean, it's huge. It's I can't describe how huge it is. I mean, it's huge. And actually, one a really nice portrait there shows Mary, the mother of Jesus, and just Constantine is offering her Constantinople. You know, with the walls, a magnificent, magnificent structure which lasted for centuries. I mean, to think from the early hundreds, just in the Christian era, until what 1453, if I'm not mistaken, when Fatih Sultan Mehmet the second, which is the Sultan Mehmet II, or the Conqueror, as they sometimes translate it, when he entered, I mean, that's just phenomenal. That's just amazing. And also the Hagia Sophia, which lasts until now. I mean, they're really taking poor care of it, to be honest, in my opinion. They should take better care. But it's just huge. And they both are presenting these things to her. I just thought that was, I took a picture of it. I thought that was really interesting because they both built amazing things. Um, I went there with a dear friend, and I saw the dogs. And I may have mentioned this before, but the Turks told me in class, they were like, dogs are so smart in Turkey. And I was like, why? And they're like, they know how to cross. And you don't see it much on this side, but on the other side, i.e. the European side, you really see it. The dogs actually stop when there's a red light you can't cross, and they wait, and then they move. And sometimes people will help them along. They'll be like, gel, which means come, in the informal, singular, imperative form. So it was just really interesting. We drank some expensive Turkish coffee, but don't trust them, because one guy said 5 liras. I was like, 5 liras for some Turkish coffee? It wasn't even handmade. So we went almost next door. He's like, you won't find it cheaper than 5, maybe 4. We found it for 350, and it was handmade. We're like, handmade? They're like, of course, that's how Turkish coffee is made. For sure. Don't get anything less. And that was expensive too, so get some cheaper stuff. I went to Süleymaniye, which is Suleiman the Magnificent, or maybe Kanuni Sultan Suleiman. I forgot how to say it in Turkish, but Suleiman al-Qanuni in Arabic. And so this is Suleiman the Magnificent in English, and his jami, I mean his mosque is phenomenal. It was great. I totally suggest everyone go there. Um, Restoration was from 2007 to 2010 for the inside. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Um, and the outside's still being restored, but it's really beautiful. And again, I saw the arrow place where, you know, the sultan would pray in a certain area so he couldn't be assassinated. I just had this beautiful, beautiful spiritual feeling in there. Just beautiful. Yeah, I was really affected by it, and I totally encourage other people to go there. Built by Mimar Sinan Hoxha, so I mean, best architect in Turkish history, and one of the best, I believe, in the history of the world. But I don't know that much about architecture. The Hagia Sophia, yeah, I mean, it's like a must go to place, right? Everyone's like, you must go there. You're in Turkey, and I was thinking of leaving without going there. I mean, I didn't go to the pyramids in Egypt. To be honest, it wasn't. I mean, it's huge. I just didn't really feel anything. I mean, it was kind of just normal. I pass by it, I mean, across the Bosphorus every day when I go to work and come back. It's just normal. Topkapı Sarayı, Topkapı Palace. Again, that was like a must-go place. I didn't really. I mean, I went to a lot of the places, and then I went to the Islamic place where it's supposed to have the beard of the Prophet, or many different beards. I mean, because there were like 20 of them, and swords of companions of the Prophet, and many things. But a lot of them had been restored, at least externally. The handle was different. The sheath was different. I don't know. I kind of doubted a lot of things, and I'm not saying like I'm not like a revisionist in terms of history or anything like that, and I'm just trying to deconstruct things. But I just was like, was this really their stuff? And how do they know they had like the staff of Moses and the turban of Joseph? Uh, I don't know. It wasn't really all that, to be honest. But I ended up leaving and being like, wow. Well, it's nice to hear different languages from different countries, but ultimately, If I could go back, I wouldn't go to any of these places. I mean, they're not all that. I mean, if you're coming here as a tourist, I bet 100% you're gonna go there. You're gonna visit these two places. But I'll tell you, as someone who was living here, it was just like whatever. What am I doing here with these tourists? I'm Turk. I'm just kidding. But what am I doing here with these tourists? So, like I said, it was just. I hate that bell. I hate our doorbell. It was just interesting to. Yes, it won't stop. Hey, maybe you can see something about Turkish culture. That when you don't answer the door, people keep ringing 100 times. It's very interesting. Okay, someone's getting the door. But if a door, if it weren't answered, I've had it ring 20 times before. Probably some people will come in right now to check out our apartment. But I'm still going to continue this because I don't feel like repeating everything again. I prayed Friday prayer. It was on a Friday. The next day in Sultan Ahmet. So again, it was just like, as they say in Arabic, it was just normal. It wasn't all that. I don't know. It was a cold day too and rainy, but whatever. And that didn't make or break anything for me. I went to Sultan Ahmet, the Blue Mosque, for Friday prayer, and it was really interesting. You know, again, seeing people from all over the world. I saw these British people. They were entering in, and they were like getting bags for their shoes, and they were speaking in British English. And I was just like, that's so cool. It sounds amazing. And then there was this one guy standing there, and I'm so stupid. I should have been like, hey, how are you? Do you need anything? But I'm just so bad at that stuff, and I'm still kind of new here anyways. And then there was this other guy who was, he was white, and I thought maybe he knew English, because a lot of these people know English, even the travelers. They're from, I heard Spanish, Italian, I heard Chinese, Japanese, I heard French, I heard German. I even heard Swedish. One girl was speaking Swedish, and I thought it was so cool because I know a couple of Swedes, and Swedish sounds so cool. What else did I hear? Those are the only languages I remember hearing. And English, of course, you know, native English speakers, both British and American. And one was Australian, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, it was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just afraid to talk to tourists. Although my friend's really good at it, I don't know what to say. Hey, how are you? Because they'll be like, you're a tourist too, aren't you? And then if I'm like, I live here, they're like, okay, how do I get to this place? And I'm like, I don't really know this place too well. But maybe one day in the next couple of weeks before I leave. I had lunch at this place. Dude, it was so cheap. Sorry to call you dude. And I'm probably going to get criticized for that, right? The dude, the man thing. I mean it for everyone, males and females. But there was this huge dish. I was eating lunch with some peeps, and just a huge dish of food. Like, it was huge. I took a picture on my phone. Just huge. All this different types of meat, everything. I was totally stuffed. We all were, and there was still stuff left over. And I know that's terrible. That's being a bad Muslim. That's eating too much and stuff like that. But it was only 18 liras. 18 liras. That's crazy. That's dirt cheap right there. That's cheap by American standards, by Turkish standards. And it was in the covered bazaar. Kapalı Çarşısı, which was amazing. And I'll take this last minute quickly. Oh my god. The best part of all of this sightseeing, I'm standing next to the tramway, and I'm waiting for a friend, right? I'm just sitting there. It's kind of raining a little bit, but I don't care at that point. We'll say sprinkling. And a Turk comes up to me. You know, they always come around in the touristy places and try to sell you stuff. And he opens up his bag, and he has cologne in there. And he's like, you want to buy some cologne? He's just pulling it out. And I tell him, thank you. Well, what you say, instead of no thank you, in languages such as Arabic and Turkish, you say thank you. And so I say thank you. I just turn to him and I say thank you. And he smiles, and he puts his hand on my shoulder. And he says, and in Turkish you say no thank you. And he's like, no thank you. And he uses the word abi, which means older brother. He says, no thank you, older brother. And he gives me this genuine smile, as if to say, you're not a tourist. You're one of us. And he walks away. That is why I'm in Turkey. And that's what makes my whole stay worth it. That, not the touristy stuff, but that. And that's sweet. That felt so good. Yeah. So I'll end right there, because time's running out.